Quick, you have 5 seconds to figure out which player is the Hall of Famer and which is not. Oh, sorry, if you picked player A, you'd be wrong. But if you looked at the title or have Giga Chad levels of NFL knowledge and picked player B, then congratulations! You win the rest of this video. So what's the point of this video? Well, there's a lot of people who don't see why Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. Is he one of the best to ever do it, or is he just given the benefit of being the right quarterback at the right time? There's a variety of reasons, but first, I have to define what I believe a person has to achieve to be inducted. The first is, can you tell the story of the NFL without this person? Can you tell the story of the NFL without Joe Montana? No, you definitely can't. But can you tell the story of the NFL without Andy Dalton? Yes, you definitely can. Already you may be thinking, but Noah, what about the legacy Joe Namath has? And you'd be right. Technically, Joe Namath does fit this narrative. For those of you who don't know, Joe Namath, nicknamed Broadway Joe, solidified himself in NFL history when he boldly claimed that his New York Jets would beat the heavily favored Baltimore Colts in Super Bowl III. He'd go on to do just that, beating the Colts 16-7. Where this iconic picture was taken. But there is a second part to my definition, and that is stats and accolades. Joe Namath does have 2 AFL MVPs and is a 2-time AFL passing leader, along with his Super Bowl MVP. But when you compare Joe Namath's career numbers to his Hall of Fame brothers at quarterback, he's the clear outlier. He's one of only a few quarterbacks in Canton that have more interceptions than touchdowns by a large margin. He's also only one of 2 quarterbacks that have a losing win percentage, joining Sonny Jurgensen in that honor. These 2 stats are extremely important for any argument against him. But let's take up for Joe a little bit. As I said earlier, it's extremely difficult to tell the story of the NFL without Broadway Joe. His absolute iconic moment in his lone Super Bowl appearance is hard to look over, but it's also a good point to note that Namath was never a reliable quarterback in the NFL. Granted, passing rules were a lot different during his time, and the quality of QB play wasn't great back then, mostly due to teams being run-first oriented. It's also hard to look past Broadway Joe's accomplishments with the AFL before the NFL-AFL merger, but his play significantly dropped off post-merger. In just the 70s alone, Namath threw 76 touchdowns to 116 interceptions, and the thing with Hall of Fame consideration, you have to look at their career as a whole. If not, then guys like Ken Anderson would be in Canton right now. If Namath had retired before the 70s, or even early into the decade, his case for Canton Enshrinement would be a lot stronger. So, does Joe Namath belong in the Hall of Fame? Yes, I think he does. But it's close. His career is filled with what-ifs. What if Joe Namath didn't make his famous guarantee? What if Joe Namath didn't win Super Bowl III, or even lost? What if Joe Namath didn't play late into the 70s? But the Hall of Fame, thankfully, doesn't care about what-ifs. You could make this argument about quite a few different players in the Hall of Fame. But in Broadway Joe's case, it's understandable to have these questions. The AFL wasn't exactly known for its outstanding quarterback play, but it's not a far stretch to say that Namath is one of the best out of that group. But, if I'm being honest, this video started as a concept. That concept was that Joe Namath was not a Hall of Famer. It's crazy what a little bit of research can do for you.
I want to kiss you.
But of course, Joe Namath's name in Canton will always cause some cringed looks by avid NFL fans who feel he just doesn't match up with the others in that great hall. But what do you guys think about Joe Namath? Do you feel he did enough to get into the Hall of Fame, or do you feel his stats should hold him back? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you like this video, help me out by dropping a like and maybe subscribe for more content just like this.